What's good, agents? This is the Amateur Otaku podcast where we review everything in the world of anime and sometimes manga as well. On this episode of the Amateur Otaku, we are reviewing Spy X Family. If you're the type of person who says Hunter X Hunter, I feel like most people would just say Spy Family, though. There's all kinds that make this world. So, in this episode, I'm joined. First off, I'm Michael Thomas, obviously, the novice cinephile. Joining me is my co-host and great friend, Isaac Wolf. Isaac, how you doing, man? I know you and Brandon have been reviewing Spy Family every single week in live stream format. So
Yeah, and it's been a chaotic experience. Everything from me uh, making some mistakes about the intro or getting technical difficulties and all that jazz. And yeah, I have hosted recent episodes of this one, but I thought let's go less chaotic and have Mike handling that, so we have some proper structure with this episode for once.
you need me to bring balance to the force, huh? I understand my mission.
Yeah, exactly.
Brandon's not joining us today because he's on vacation, but that's okay because we have a great friend of ours joining us. You may know her from twitch.tv/swiper_prime. Jaime, how's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to talk about this anime because I feel like I've talked about it with like maybe two people. So I'm ready to just release all my feelings about it and just geek out. It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a blast. I want to start with you then because I know like I was on like one or two episodes with Isaac and Brandon early on in the season, but like what are your general thoughts on Spy Family as a whole?
I really love it. I enjoy it. I feel like I don't know. I like slice of life anime, and this is kind of a slice of life at the same time not. And I just feel like the fusion between like action and like a little hint of romance, and also kind of like slice of life with like following Anya and like her school life has just been really interesting. And having the dynamic of like these three characters all have like a secret that they're keeping from each other, but also trying to like save face has
Yeah.
been super interesting. And I feel like I heard a little bit about the manga and like how much people love the manga. So I was like, oh, like this could be a cool
It's
anime. And just
excellent.
yeah, I just ended up loving it. So I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the end of season one, or I guess part two of season one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I really found out about this anime from our friend AJ because he was hyping
Oh
it
yeah,
up.
yeah,
He was hyping it up a good 3 months before it released, and so
yep,
it's like, okay, well, the premise is I'm already sold on the premise. We have a spy, an assassin, a telepath in a room together. that automatically sold me. But then you get into the show, and you're right. It's a blend of action, slice of life, romance, and I think that to me makes it one of the best animes you can recommend to somebody. Right? There's something
right,
for
yeah,
everyone,
very
especially
approachable.
right approachable. Especially if you're new to the genre, it can be kind of daunting when you see One Piece with over 1,000 episodes.
Yeah,
It can scare people off, but it's like there's some smaller animes, there's some action, there's romance, slice of life, and this has a combination of all of it. And I just love the cast of characters. I love Lloyd, I love Anya, I love Yor. They're all so incredibly written. It's just a
yes.
blast. Isaac, I know you've talked about it at length now, but what are your overall thoughts on like? I guess I want to spin the question a little bit for you because you did read the manga. How was this as an adaptation of those first 17 chapters?
Perfect. Downright perfect. I mean, it's not picture by picture because they added stuff to
Mm,
the general context. For example, the whole when Jorma was in, it's not as detailed as the anime making it look like, but or for example, the volleyball game, the whole training montage that Damien and his friend or Anya have with Jor. That's not in the manga, but that fits perfectly within the context of the world and story.
Yeah.
I just love the whole tidbit of him acting like he was on Namek Damien in the volleyball episode. That's just stuff like that was just perfect in that episode.
I don't think I've laughed as hard as I did during that volleyball episode in a long time.
Yes.
It's so great. Like, first off, you have the buildup of her rivalry with Damien Desmond, and then you have that other child that they're going against. Excuse me, during the dodgeball, and that kid
Yeah.
is so massive.
I know. He is practically an adult out there on the on the gym floor.
That's the first part of the joke, but the gold is when you have the flashback and you see that he is so small in comparison to his father. It's like, are they
Yes.
both just giants, or are the rest of the kids just really, really tiny? It was just great humor in that episode overall.
And yeah, it's a practical. Also, I don't know if you know that, Jaime. Mike, I didn't know it before. Before Mike told me, but just the fact that they called the. I know it's a random thing, but when you after I heard that the opening theme song is called "Mixed Nuts," and you first see it in a more childish drawing way, it's just to then being a more professionally animated or whatever you want to call it, then it just explains the show. I mean, it doesn't spoil the show, but it just explains the show perfectly. First off, it's from Anya's point of view, sort of like that, and then we have Lloyd and Lior. And can we all agree that Anya is a perfect point of view reader slash watcher's point of view character for a story like this?
Yeah, she fits the story like surprisingly well. And just because she like having the telepathy, I think was like a very good idea on the mangaka's part. Just because like as a child, like children are pretty oblivious to like the things that their parents are doing, and especially if your parents like don't want you to know what they're doing. So the fact that she can read minds just adds to, I guess, like really getting inside of Lloyd and Yor from a different perspective, as well as just like watching their own perspectives and like the facades that they put on.
100%, 100%. And Isaac, that's a great point that she is that point of view character, but also the chaos it causes, right? Is that she knows everything going on. Like, one of the things, and I think it's episode 11, right? She's envisioning becoming friends with Damien, and so she's running through all these scenarios of how she can help Papa with his mission, and it's like, that is such a creative way. One, I love how every character in her imagination is voiced by Anya. That's just really adorable. But two,
Yes.
it's like Lloyd's mission is affecting her in a way that is just comedic gold. And you end up feeling really bad for her with how stressed out she gets half the time.
Yeah.
But it just makes their dynamic so interesting, especially when you contrast that to Yor, who's just like, oh, Lloyd just really loves his daughter. It's like, you have no idea what these two are dealing with right now. And they can't even talk to each other about it. So great.
Yeah. Also, I just find it funny that you talk about her doing her best to become a friend with Damien. Well, give it a couple of years, and that shouldn't be a problem considering what he is indicating, even though he don't like to admit that.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see? Well, I don't know how it goes in the manga, but I guess a question for you, Mike. Do you think that this is going to, like, this love affair will swell into something, or Damien's just going to check it out and never say anything?
At their age, Damien's probably going to chicken out and never say anything.
Dang.
It depends how long. Like, that's a question I wanted to ask you, is like, how long can they keep this up, right? Like, at a certain point, will Twilight's mission change? Like, how long are we going to be focusing on Anya becoming an Imperial scholar and befriending Damien and getting close to his father. Like, I feel like you can only stretch that out for maybe a season or two at most. Like, do you think it's going to end up pivoting at any point in time? I'm not asking you, Isaac, because you probably know.
That is a good question. I feel like the mission, like, I guess the big idea of just like getting into the house so that way he can like quell the fight, I guess, between the two countries. Like, I think Lloyd's going to be able to infiltrate. Um, I don't know. I feel like just as Anya and Damien start to get along, that's probably when the mission's going to change.
Yeah.
And Lloyd's going to be like, all right, Anya, now you have to fight him. And she's going to be like, what?
That would be a heck of a twist. I still want
That
to know
would
how your kind of fits in all of this, because
Yeah. We've only
during
really seen her, like, assassinate. Well, we've seen her assassinate a few people, but that was like earlier on in the season. So now she's pretty much in housewife mode. So I wonder if like I feel like and I thought about this earlier in the season too, that somehow her mission is going to cross with like Lloyd's mission, and maybe she'll get an order to assassinate him, and she'll be like, "What? Like why? He's just a doctor," and then things will start to unravel from there. But I don't know.
Yeah, I know I mentioned that earlier in the season to Brandon and Isaac, and Brandon said basically Mr. and Mrs. Smith would be the plot of like season
Yeah,
2 or 3.
that would be interesting.
Indeed.
I can tell you like this without spoiling it. It
Yes,
all
sir.
depends on how the mangaka is executing the idea of Desmond's plan, as in how you sort of like how long will it take to execute it? Will it have to be that it's going to happen very soon in a couple of months, or do we need to wait a couple of years because just pulling up the pieces, so to speak? It all depends on that, because the school there, if I'm not misremembering, have up to 9th grade. So it all depends. So it all depends on how he wants to execute how long he need to do.
How long it is to
make
keep
this.
up the facade for the mission?
Yes, it all depends on that. That's not a spoiler, so to speak.
No, you're good.
I think another thing that I wonder about is just like what life is going to look like for everybody after the mission. I can't imagine we'll see like too much of it, but like they're creating this pretend family, and in some instances, I feel like even towards the end of season 1, like I do think that Lloyd and Yor have a connection, but I don't know if Lloyd is willing to like take the risk to like keep it going after the mission, or if he's just like, well, okay, you served the purpose. See you later.
I feel like we're getting inklings of that in this season, right? Where he's having those moments of happiness, the moment where he's proud of Anya, the moment where he has a connection with Yor. So it's like over time, they actually are going to become a real family. And so it's going to be interesting to see the conflict of interest that has with not only Lloyd's mission, but also his brother-in-law, whose mission is to kill him.
That was interesting. See, it wasn't until that episode where they like confirmed my suspicions. I don't know, the brother sounds a little too innocent. Like there's gotta be some dirt. And then we find out when they're talking about him and like him going to go visit Yor and Lloyd, and like I knew it. There was something up with this guy. So I wonder if he'll be a factor in the part 2 of season 1 as well.
I feel like he has to be, because in part 2, like I assume it's not a Stranger Things situation where part 2 is like 2 episodes. I'm assuming it's a full 12 again. So I feel like he has to pop back up eventually. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I have a quick question for you, because I'm skimming the manga here. And this isn't a spoiler. This is nothing we haven't covered. In chapter 7.1, it's a short story with
Yes.
Anya with her penguin.
Yes.
Was that entire episode filler until she gets the penguin?
About them going to aquarium and all.
Yeah, because I'm skimming through here and I don't see it.
No, that's not filler. That's in the manga.
Okay. It's just, that was a very strange stopping point for me. Because you have the previous episode, and the whole thing is them wanting to get a dog. And you end with this very sad looking puppy that is thinking or has visions of the forgers. I'm not sure what to make of that scene.
No comment.
And then you have the next episode, which is completely unrelated. That was just kind of strange.
Yeah, I agree. I did think it was strange, and I didn't know there was going to be a part 2 to the season until probably watching that episode, and I'm like, that did not feel like a season finale. Like, that was kind of just random.
Yeah, it felt like a random one-off, and it was a fine episode. You know, I love the characters. I think that's the beauty of Spy Family, is that they're all so strong. You can have a random adventure. It was kind of out of character for Anya to randomly say she hates her parents, but aside from that, it was fine. It was just not a season finale or even a mid-season finale.
Yeah, that was that I was really surprised when she said that. It makes sense because like little kids will do that all the time, but
Yeah,
I just never thought it would come out of her just because it seemed like she loves them so much and is like so invested in their personal lives that like Lloyd yells at her one time and she's like, you know what, forget all that. I hate you guys.
exactly. It was a bit strange, but that was just a strange way to end the first part of the season, because technically it's still season 1.
Yeah, I agree.
In a vacuum, it'll just feel like a one-off, but ending it there was kind of weird. Like, Isaac, does it make sense that that's that stopping point? Is there like another big arc that follows that, or
continue your discussion about it, because I'm gonna check something now that I'm just want to double check.
Noted. We'll circle back to that later. Jaime, was there anything else in particular that you wanted to cover for Spy Family?
Is there anything else? Let me think. I was honestly, so I came into Spy Family not knowing pretty much anything about it other than like the images that AJ tweets all the time. And so like getting to see like Anya actually go to school and like moving away from like Lloyd's kind of like spy escapades and stuff. At first, I was a little bit worried because I'm like, oh, like just a bunch of kids, like this could be, I don't know, like not that great. But I ended up really liking the sections where Anya is going to school, and now it's like Anya embodies Lloyd a little bit. She's on her own little spy mission. And I also like that, Anya's not the perfect student. We learned that very early on.
Yes.
She's good at mind reading, and other subjects she needs a little bit more practice. So it was cool to kind of see Lloyd actually have to be pushed into like the parent's position. Like, okay, like my daughter needs to get better grades in school. Like, I need to try and do something about it. And to see like him actually struggle with this, I think this was maybe like the second or third thing that he really struggled with Anya. That was interesting to see like just how he was able to work through that, or at least get in the process of working through it. Because I feel like it helped develop their like father-daughter relationship a lot more. But yeah, I really enjoyed the parts where Anya was going to school, and the interview section too. The couple episodes where they did the interview was also really fun.
Oh yeah, those were so great. And I totally agree with you. Like that moment where it's like, okay, we're splitting Anya off from her parents. This is make or break for the series now, right? Because it's all dependent on if those kids are annoying. I'm gonna be real. Damien and his friends are very annoying, but they make it work because you have the contrast of Anya, her being fixated on her mission, and every time she focuses on it, she makes it worse. And you just have the running
Yes.
joke of Mama's a liar. Her advice never works. It's like
Mhm.
I can tell you right now, Damien and his friend is probably going to get a Bakugo reaction.
so like Bakugo how?
I would go into spoiler if I said more.
Okay, if Damien tells her to kill herself like Bakugo did in that first episode of My Hero Academia, I'm throwing him out the window. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yep. I
Protect
don't think
Anya
he'll
at
do
all
that though.
costs.
Damien, I wonder how his attitude is gonna change because I feel like if he's really trying to make it work with Anya, at some point he's got to soften up a bit. It's his minions too. If his minions weren't around, he probably would have softened up already. But
Yeah,
we'll
they
see. We'll
are a
see how
bad
it goes.
influence for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Isaac, did you do your research?
1 sec.
I love how Isaac this entire episode's in the background just flipping through pages.
I know the thing that's bothered me that I know that the aquarium scene is in the manga. I can't just recall what chapter it is because
Oh, is that what you're looking for?
yes, it
It's not
makes me
relevant.
wonder.
Let it go.
Yeah, it makes me wonder because without going into too many specific, what happens with the dog, I can see being a very, as I put it, we need to get some extra time and animate that. So let's put some smaller stuff in between to make uh, make it work. So give it time for that. That's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Yeah, it sounds like the episode was a partial filler. I'm just gonna probably just leave that there.
More
Um,
like is changing the changing. Take a later chapter that could be taken there and just add it there instead.
Mhm.
maybe it was just a very strange way to bookend that first half of the season. But
Yeah.
it was fine. It was a fun episode. Don't get me wrong. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It was fun. It was just like I thought we were gonna get something a little bit more significant for the end of the what I thought was the season, but the end of part one.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Isaac, did you have anything else that you wanted to chime in on? I know it's kind of hard because you know what happens next and we don't. But like overall, your
Yeah,
thoughts on this half of the season? Where are you at?
I love it. I love it, and I can't wait for more.
Eh, can't
I
argue
have
with
a
that.
question for you, Isaac. What's
Yes,
been your favorite episode so far of the season?
it's probably I can't recall what number it is, but it's probably either the volleyball, it was a dodgeball episode, or the episode where Anya quote unquote gets kidnapped and Yor is yes, I'm her mother.
Hmm.
Yes, if you don't want to end up like this, yes, f off, kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, good picks. Good picks.
How about you?
I'm trying to think. It's tough. I honestly, let me see. I don't know if I can find the episode title quick enough, but I really like the episode where Lloyd kind of takes Anya and Yor to a castle and like creates this whole like spy fantasy for Anya. I thought that was really fun. And I think Lloyd, he won't admit it, but I think he had a good time too. And then honestly, I also really enjoyed the first episode. The first episode really pulled me in, which is not necessarily rare for me nowadays, but it's definitely like when something pulls me like that, I'm like, oh, like I can't wait for like the next episode to come out like right now. So they did a really good job of like pulling me in and keeping me interested with the first episode, and then getting to see like Anya live out her spy fantasy was also super cute and really fun and action packed. It had everything. It had everything.
Oh, thank you. Now I found it. It's 8.5. That's the number.
So they took two short chapters and merged them together.
Yep.
Gotcha. Still weird, but makes sense now. So yeah, I'm with you, Jamie. Episode 1 is a perfect episode for me.
It really
Honestly, like
is.
it's perfect setup, it's perfect execution, it's perfect intrigue. It's like, okay, I got to see how this plays out. Like a lot of shows, Isaac knows this. He said this not too long ago that you usually, ideally, need to give a show 3 episodes for it to kind of find its footing and see if it clicks for you.
Mm-hmm.
Spy Family is just like episode 1, you're hooked.
Yes.
Perfect. It's honestly might be my favorite pilot of all time. That's how strong that first
Ooh.
episode was.
Okay.
Spy mission. Waka
Yeah.
waka.
I might agree with you. I might agree with you on that. I know last year, or was it 2 years ago? Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. Time blends together for me now. But the year that
Flat
Odd
circle.
Taxi came out, I really liked the first episode of that. And the reason I really liked it is because I didn't know anything about Odd Taxi. And so like walking into it, I'm like, oh, is this another like B stars? Like, should I expect to be uncomfortable? But no, I actually really liked it, and they kind of immediately pulled me in. But Spy Family, I feel like it topped it a little bit, just did a little bit more than Odd Taxi to really reel me in and make me want to stick my teeth in the series.
For sure. Isaac, I know you read the manga, so we'll ask about the manga. How was your first interaction with Spy Family? Whether that be the episode or the manga chapter, like was that a really strong introduction to the world for you, or was it more of a you had to take your time and get through a couple of chapters or episodes?
The funny thing is, I
Yes.
started reading the manga exactly after the pilot, so I don't think I need to.
Oh,
I don't think I need to answer that question even further.
That'll do it. That I think the anime
yeah.
did its job. Most anime exists to
Mhm.
sell the manga anyway, so mission accomplished, Lloyd Forger.
Dang, that's really
So
interesting.
great. I know we hinted at this earlier, but like, Jamie? What do you want to see from Yor? Because she is not connecting in Lloyd's story
Mhm.
very much, and like you said it earlier, we haven't really seen her kill anybody in a
Right,
while now.
right.
So, are we gonna have her interconnect with like the spy plot eventually? Or are we at least going to start giving her some episodes to kind of get back involved in the story?
I think that her subplot is going to get interweaved into the spy plot in some shape or fashion, whether
Mhm.
it be her target is Lloyd or her target is like the general that Lloyd is trying to like get in contact with, or however that may be. What I would like to see though, we don't know a whole lot about as like a person, I guess. We don't really know a whole lot about really any of the characters besides Anya, just because she is growing up like right before our eyes. And we don't know too much about Lloyd's personal life and how he got into the spy business, so I'd love to know more about that. But for your especially, I would love to know like how she got to, or how she became an assassin, especially just because of, and it seemed like she's been assassin for a while, I want to say, like even while she was taking care of her little brother.
Yeah, since Yuri
um
was a child, for sure.
yeah, so I'm very curious like how she got into it, and kind of it seems like there was a little bit of like brainwashing that happened, because it seemed like as soon as she picked up that phone it's like completely different person. So I'm curious, does she even fully recognize what she's doing? I know she doesn't necessarily feel guilty about it, but is that like part of the brainwashing? Or is she like a little bit of a psychopath? Like I just want to dig further into her character,
So
and just know like how she started and like how that brought her to where she is now.
yeah, so you're thinking kind of like a Black Widow type of Red Room situation
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Yor.
Like, how did this come to be? And I kind of wonder if it kind of bleeds into her brother's story, because her brother is also like a very like surprisingly violent, or just like very. open to violence kind of person. So I wonder if it's like maybe a family business or if it could be
Yeah.
something else.
That's a very good point because it feels like Yuri became a member of the secret police independent of Yor. So it's like, what
Right.
led both of them down this path of violence and terror?
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to see the flashback episodes because they're coming. That's probably the
Yes.
bulk of the second half of the season is getting a flashback on Yor, getting a flashback on Lloyd. The way Lloyd talks, it sounds like he was an orphan, like Anya. So it's like,
Yeah.
what led him to become a spy? That's all very interesting stuff. And again, Isaac, I know you know the answer to all this already. So chime in with whatever else you got. Manga readers, so frustrating sometimes.
I know.
I don't
Just
know
having to
what
wait.
I don't. I mean, this is not. I mean, let's put it like this with Jor. She knows that she's humanly strong. She know that she knows that this is not mentioned in the manga. I'm just talking
You're good. You're
because
good.
and then we and she realized, oh, I'm strong. I can do something like that. Oh, I can do it good. Do that work job good. Okay, I do that. We're not thinking a second of it because let's face it, she is kind of socially awkward, naive, and everything else. So this she doesn't need. The poor soul doesn't really need a brainwashing. Let's be real here.
I
Yeah.
love how that you make a good point because like the whole plot of that I think like episode 6 or 7, and Lloyd is freaking out of like, how do you explain that we've been married for a year to your brother without it coming across as crazy? And she just shows up and says, I forgot. And Yuri totally buys it because like, yeah, of course. They're both that spacey where
Yeah.
her saying she forgot works as an excuse.
Yeah.
So perfect. Guys, was there anything else on Spy Family you guys wanted to cover before we call this an episode?
But yeah. Did you say anything, Mike?
Can you not hear me, Isaac?
I can't hear you in case you say anything.
Oh, he was
Okay.
asking if there was anything else you wanted to say about Spy Family or any other anecdotes before you wrap it up.
No, I don't have anything more.
Okay. This is really strange that you have to
Yeah,
translate.
playing
for me,
telephone.
Isaac. Telepath.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else other than just really excited to see season 2. I'm actually I'm in California for the summer and we just so happen to go downtown. So AX is happening right now. And I saw so many like Spy Family cosplay. Surprisingly, I don't think I saw anybody dressed up as Anya, but I saw a bunch of like Lloyd and Yor. So people are very excited for this, and yeah, I just can't wait for the story to continue.
Awesome. I feel like I'm hoping Lloyd and Yor become the new Harley and Joker for couple
Ooh,
costumes because I'm so
yeah.
sick of Harley and Joker. So please let's change it up a bit.
That would be fun. I would like that a lot.
But yeah, I think we can call this an episode, guys. It's been a blast talking Spy Family. Thanks for joining us, Jamie. It's been awesome having you here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I needed this. I definitely needed this.
Awesome. Isaac, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what it was, but the connection got all wonky for a bit.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Did you have anything you wanted to plug or let the people know what to find you at on the internet?
Well, you can find my work at Robum Entertainment, and you can find me at Emblemaniac on Twitter. That's about it.
Nice. Jamie, where can people find you?
Yeah, I stream on Twitch. I don't know, like 3 or 4 days a week now. I don't know. It's just been I've been upping it up because I feel like just being at work all day. This is like my first time working 9 to 5, so like I need to do something fun. I need to do something fun. So I've been streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/swiper_prime. And I do stuff on YouTube, but you can find those links through my Twitch page. But yeah, I've been having fun just chatting with people on the web, and I don't know, just doing random stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. You can find the podcast at the Amateur Otaku Pod on Twitter. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, anywhere you listen to your podcast, you will find the Amateur Otaku. If you guys enjoyed this episode,
Except Podbean.
Nobody cares about Podbean. We don't talk about Podbean.
Like, I've never even heard of that.
Okay, fair enough.
Podbean, if you want to sponsor this episode, we're sorry, we'll cut this part out. No, but you guys can find us wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you're listening in a podcast feed like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out a lot there. And with that, we will catch you next time on YouTube. We have weekly coverage for My Hero Academia's manga, Doraemon. We do movie reviews. We're doing House Moving Castle. We're doing Parasite the Maxim. So much stuff happening there. You get it there first on YouTube, so subscribe. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Peace out.
See ya.
Peace out.